Welcome back to week 3. Last week we built the foundation, the world your customer lives in, and what drives them to act. This week we take all of that and use it to make the most important strategic decision in marketing. Not, what should our ad say? Not, what price should we charge? Those come later. The most important decision is this: who exactly are you for? And what do you want to mean to them? That is segmentation, targeting, and positioning, often called STP. And once you understand how this works, you will see it operating everywhere, in every brand decision you encounter, in every product launch, in every rebranding. STP is the strategic spine that everything else in the course connects to. So I want to start with a question. How many laundry detergents does one company need? P&G's answer is as many as there are meaningfully different customer segments. And in the laundry detergent category, they have identified quite a few. Tide Simply is for price-sensitive households who still want a trusted brand. Then there's Tide Original for mainstream. There's Tide Pure Clean for consumers who have made some environmental values a purchasing criterion. There's Tide Hygienic Clean, there's Tide Plus Febreze Sport. So there's all these variants, and every single one of them is targeting a different segment. And here is the brilliant part. When those variants compete against each other at the shelf, P&G still wins. They hold over 50% of the US laundry detergent market, precisely because they are competing with themselves across segments rather than leaving room for a competitor to own any single one. Chapter 7 gives us a vocabulary to describe exactly what P&G did. Market segmentation is dividing a broad market into smaller groups of buyers with distinct needs and behaviors that might require separate or different strategies. The 4 major segmentation variables are geographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioral. P&G is using all of them at once. And think about your brand for a moment, the one that you've picked to do for your final project. Who are the different kinds of customers that brand could serve? Even if the brand only targets one segment right now, are there adjacent segments they are ignoring or underserving or could be a potential market? Hold that thought for your assignment this week. So once a company has identified its segments, it has to make a choice. Which ones to serve, and then how. And Chapter 7 lays out 4 targeting strategies. Undifferentiated marketing means that you're going after the whole market with one offer. This was the mass marketing model that was really popular in the mid-20th century. It still exists in commodity categories, but it is increasingly rare for branded goods because technology now makes differentiation pretty cheap. Differentiated marketing is the P&G model. You serve multiple segments with tailored offers for each, higher costs, but higher revenue and stronger competitive positions across the board. Concentrated marketing, sometimes called niche marketing, means going after one segment very deeply. Instead of a small share of a large market, you pursue a large share of a small market. Lululemon did this originally, targeting women in yoga and high-end fitness before expanding. They owned that niche before competitors understood what was happening. Micro-targeting takes this even further, tailoring products or messages to local groups or even individual customers. AI has made this the fastest growing targeted approach because behavioral data now makes individual level personalization viable at scale. So, how do you evaluate which segments to target? Chapter 7 gives 3 criteria. Is the segment large enough and growing? Is it structurally attractive, meaning are there not too many competitors and too much downward price pressure? And does it fit the company's objectives and resources? All three have to work together. The largest, fastest growing segment is not always the right choice if you can't win there. So positioning is the last step in the STP sequence, and it is the one that has the most direct impact on every other marketing decision that your brand makes. Here is the definition that matters. Positioning is arranging for your offer to occupy a clear, distinctive, and desirable place in the minds of your target customer relative to the competitors. Operative words here are clear, distinctive, and relative. It is not just about what you say you are, it is about where you sit in the customer's mental map compared to everyone else. And here is where, once again, Lululemon is a useful example because their position is both highly specific and genuinely difficult to copy. When they started in 1998, they targeted a very particular segment, women in urban markets who took yoga seriously, had disposable income, and cared deeply about how they looked while working out. Now, most athletic apparel at the time was positioned on either performance or price. Lululemon positioned on performance and aesthetics simultaneously at a very premium price point that signaled both quality and lifestyle. Now, if we could created a positioning map of different athletic brands, you would have Nike and Under Armour sitting in a high performance functional quadrant. And then you would have budget athletic brands sitting in a low price and varying fashion levels. Lululemon staked out in the high price, fashion forward, and functional position, and then defended it aggressively through product design, store experience, and community marketing. That position also made every other decision easier. Premium price, of course, because the positioning demands it. Selective distribution through their own stores rather than mass retail, consistent with the premium positioning. Instructor partnerships and in-store community events, consistent with the lifestyle positioning. So when your position is clear, the downstream decisions, they almost make themselves. All right, so chapter 7 gives us a formal template for writing a positioning statement. And I want to walk you through it carefully because this is the deliverable from this week that matters most for your final project. The template has 4 parts. First, who is the target customer and what is the specific need or situation that you are addressing? This forces you to go back to the segmentation and targeting work you just did. A vague target produces a vague positioning statement. Second, what category does the brand compete in? This establishes the competitive frame of reference. When you say your brand is a premium athletic apparel brand, you are telling the customer what mental shelf to put you on and which competitors to compare you to. Third, what is the key benefit or point of difference? This is the heart of the statement. What does this brand deliver that others in the same category do not, or do not deliver as well? It has to be specific enough to exclude someone. If every competitor in the category could make the same claim, then it's not a differentiator. Fourth, the reason to believe. What makes the claim credible? This is often a feature, a process, a heritage, an ingredient, a certification, a community, something tangible that backs up the benefit claim. Now, here is the AI angle for this week. AI is actually really good at helping you check whether your positioning statement is clear and specific. You can paste in a draft and then ask it, who does this exclude? What competitor could make this same claim that I'm saying? Is the reason to believe actually connected to the benefit? Those are useful diagnostic questions. What AI cannot do is tell you what your brand actually stands for. That knowledge comes from the work you have done over the last 2 weeks. Your environmental scan, your consumer profile, your firsthand observation of how the brand shows up in the world. The statement has to reflect real strategic thinking, and that needs to be yours to do. All right, so read chapter 7 this week. It's one of the most important chapters in the course. Chapter 6 is on business markets and it's assigned background reading, so just do a skim of it. But Chapter 7 is where your full attention should go. The forum is a written post this week. You're going to choose 2 brands in the same category that target different segments and analyze it. It should be pretty interesting. And the assignment is around your STP analysis. I also want to say something about the positioning statement specifically because it matters a lot for the rest of the course. A strong positioning statement is not a description of what the brand does. It is a strategic claim about what the brand means to a specific person and why the person should believe it. The difference between those 2 things is the difference between a list and a strategy. So make sure you take the time to really think that through. All right, let me know if you have any questions this week.